boom, we should be going live in a few minutes or a few seconds. And I did one the other day, and the signal kept going off, and I was like, damn it. But it happened, bro. We still got it going.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Is it cool if I close this?
No, you can, boss. Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Nice. I like the setup.
I know, man. It's like I tell people, man. Podcasting on a budget, man. Make it happen, though. It's like I said. I mean, I've been at it for a few months as far as like the podcast itself, and you know, and just so you know, it is going to be live, and it is going to be on the TheFightCardPodcast page, and we are live, but it's going to be on the group page. Hello, everybody. sPidA here, TheFightCardPodcast, coming to you once again from downtown San Antonio. We are inside the HOJ Academy. And I just dragged this young man into the studio, man. Bro, how's it going, man?
It's been going good, man. It's been going. Just trying to stay dry.
No, bro. That's why I'm here. I mean, I was saying earlier, man. I was working and I got reined in, so you know, I don't mind it, but you know, I just wish I could get paid while I was in here, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, man, you had a training session going on, man. Tell us what where was this at?
Oh, this is actually at OHANA HQ, the academy over there by the airport. So it's just like a little like sparring. I'm actually like every third Thursday of every month we throw a little of all the academies come together, including
in-house.
Yeah, in-house little sparring, 2-minute 2 rounds. So that's what I'm just trying to clean up, get ready for it, honestly.
No, and you're gonna be jumping in there.
Yeah, I'll be jumping in there.
Okay, sweet, man. And who are the main coaches out there at the headquarters?
Jason, Washington, Jake, Robert.
The Heat.
Matt. Yeah, the Heat. Man, for sure.
And I know, and I'm asking because I know there's one location that closed down. Or they closed out there by Stone Oaks.
Yeah, they moved from there to the HQ where they're at now today.
No, definitely, man. And I mean, of course, we're here at the HOJ, and I mean, you know, Landon, of course, he's in an affiliate. You know, you guys was teaching out there for a minute. Well, I think he was teaching at the one on Bassey and 281 location. Okay. But yeah, man. As far as training, bro, I mean, what is it that it consists of? I mean, is it MMA or is it just jiu-jitsu with the gi? No.
Honestly, it's, I guess you can say a little bit of everything. Honestly, because I'm there probably from 6 p.m. for Muay Thai, and then I'm jumping from 7 to 9. After that is jiu-jitsu. And then
back to
back, and then in the morning sometimes I'm jumping in there for NoGi. I'm actually trying to get ready for the competition coming up in San Antonio up in April, I do believe.
What do you know the name of the promotion? I saw a flyer the other day, and I was gonna save it so I can post it. And I didn't catch it.
No, but I think if I find it, I think it's in one of my notes. But I'll send it to you for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely, man. Because I know the thing with tournaments, man. It's always on a Saturday, and I'm working. But yeah, I haven't been able to make it to one. But I love those, man, because you get. I mean, of course, the gym owners from a lot of academies, man. They're either UFC fighters, Bellator fighters. Always. You get a good mix of everything, man. And when I used to cover them, I used to love that because I can go up there and, hey, man, quick interview. You know, just get something real quick, man. But yeah, I definitely have to make one, and maybe it'll be that one, bro. Like I said, I mean, work right now. It's income tax season, so people are buying stuff, and I gotta deliver it, man.
Shoot, everything's going straight to uniforms and gear, so that's all for me.
And let me ask you, when was the last time you competed in jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, actually, this is going to be my first time.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be the first round for me, and many more.
And I was gonna on that one. What are you signing up for? Like gi, no gi?
No gi. I honestly, for me, it's like with no gi, it's like I feel like I can move more.
Yeah.
With gi, it's like for me, it's like a little bit more weight. I'm like I can't fully move.
No, you see, and I don't. All respect to the gi because I've trained in the gi.
Definitely gi.
And it's like when it comes to tournaments that have specific rules for me. It's just it takes too long. It drags it out, and people hold position too long, and it makes for I mean for me, you know, I'm speaking for myself, but it makes for a boring match, you know. But no-gi, yeah, bro, you gotta, you know, you use your cuffs, you use your, but there's a lot of momentum, a lot of setups, and a lot of, you know,
definitely,
a lot of scrambling. It gets good, man. But yeah, I mean, as far as training, and I was gonna ask you, man, because back in the day, back when we were competing, when I started, I think I did like 3 or 4 tournaments, man, and all of them I would sign up for gi, no-gi, absolute. I would sign up for women's division if they let me, man. But I was on all of them, bro, because I was just like, man, I'm already here. Let me just
go for it.
Get my money's worth.
Screw it, let's do it.
And my mindset back then was like, man, I gotta hit one of them, bro. You gotta.
I mean, actually, like, even with the no-gis, like, right now, it's like, we're all mixed together, so we're always competing with everybody. And I actually, this one last practice, I was competing, just training with this one girl, smaller than me, but, man. Technique, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, pinning me and stuff. I'm like, oh, all right.
And that's one thing, when we first started, once again, man, it was like in 2000, but we used to have, we had this one guy from Florida.
Okay.
And he was a Florida state champion when it came to wrestling. I don't recall exactly where, but this guy was like stout, dude. Like, you'd see him and you're like, damn, he looked big, but he was like at 145 or something, you know. It was our weight, and I'm thinking like, damn, dude. But yeah, we wrestled with this guy, and I mean, he didn't have any jiu-jitsu, so I was able to fend him and defend, and but I couldn't sweep him. I couldn't get him off me. I couldn't. It was just like
he just had.
Yeah, he had his base was like freaking. Of course, superior, man. Been wrestling for years, and some of the guys were actually gave him a good matchup, man. And it was like some of our, I guess, the purple belts at that time that were rolling with him, and but it was fun, man. I mean, and I loved those because, like I tell people, like back in the day, it was hard for me to go. As a mixed martial artist, or we called it vale todo back then, or freestyle fighting. But it was hard for me to go to a boxing gym and say, hey, I want to learn how to box, but I want to learn for MMA. It was unheard of, bro.
It really wasn't unheard of until I guess I think it just skyrocketed after COVID hit, because that was the only thing going on. UFC was the only thing going on, and everybody was like, all attention was going into it.
I think Dana was smart for that, because he was just like, I mean, he was being safe and he was doing the tests and everything, but it was he gave us something to look at,
It definitely did. And now look, nowadays everybody's getting into it.
You see, it was so bad. I was like looking out my window, seeing my neighbors would start fighting or something, bro. I was like, man, let me get some action going on. but yeah, man. But I mean, when it comes to MMA, I mean, of course, the UFC, the Super Bowl of MMA here in the States. I've been keeping up with Bellator. The fight happened yesterday, man, and it was a little short change, main event. The card was good, man, and I'm a fan of the sport, man, and I mean, I've been reaching out and I've been having this. Like I was saying earlier, man, I was watching some UFC Fight Pass action. Yeah. And it's been good for me, man. Because I'm like, I go home and I just go back and I'm like, I start watching. I'm like, I don't even know when it was, when it freaking started, when it ended. But I've been catching up with a lot of the promotions, just across the world.
There's so much going on nowadays. And I'm like, I need the time off. I'm actually trying to get my work. I'm like, hey, I need these 2 days off so I can just watch. Yeah. I need to learn. I need to get the techniques, please.
No, you see, and that's one thing about like what I tell people. Even back then, I used to attend seminars. I've attended some good ones, no doubt, man. But for me, it was watching people roll that I would pick up stuff, because I'm like, oh crap, like the knees there, or oh man, this opening, and I would catch certain. Like techniques and little small techniques, bro. Like where your foot's at makes freaking a world of difference,
Definitely.
And stuff like that, man. But I mean, there was a lot of good times, bro. Now, as far as seminars, man, have you attended any?
I have not. I actually haven't really attended any seminars. It's just mostly like set schedules with the certain coaches, certain days with them. That's give up some private lessons and stuff. And it's just like, for me right now, I'm still learning with jiu-jitsu. I'm still learning. I'm not to my standards or to how I think it's like. I'm not there yet to attend to one. Right. I would love to, but let me get the basics down. Let me at least say I can compete.
Learning the flying armbar.
Yes, the flying armbar, everything.
There was this thing back in the day, man. When I was teaching at one point, and some of the guys would be like, "Oh man, I want to learn how to do the armbar," and I'm like, "Bro, you gotta learn how to freaking drill. Like
you gotta learn your base for sure.
How are you gonna bundle up and get that hip? Like you can't if you don't have that momentum, you're not getting anything, man.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's one of the things, especially when MMA started getting so hot, bro. Like people were like, "Man, I want to learn how to do this and do that," and it's like you gotta do basics, man. I mean, everybody can.
You just gotta. It's like how I told like new people for us come in every day, and they're like, I want to fight. I'm like, you gotta learn. You got to learn the basics.
Yeah, get some tournaments in, get some,
Get some things in, and then start talking to the coaches. Like, actually, when I joined OHANA, I enjoyed OHANA in August.
Yeah.
And I've had some boxing background for me, but I was like, told myself I'm going to learn from August to December, and then I'll start talking to my coaches, possibly competing.
Right.
And then actually what we did last month, I was like, you know what, let me try it. They put me a guy against who was 240 pounds. I'm 170, man. That I was like, oh my gosh. All right.
Back to UFC 1, bro. No weight division, bro.
No weight division. All right, let's go. Let's do this. All I knew was like, let me be light, let me be quick, swiftly. Let me just wear this man out, and then second round, let me just go at it.
How long were the rounds?
2 minutes.
And they seemed like an hour, right?
I was like, everything was like, okay, just all eyes on him. It felt like forever. I was like, just do it.
And I will say this, bro, because like when I started, like I said, man, it was like half a century ago. But it was like, we started. It was bro, because you would we'll do 2-minute rounds, and man, that shit lasted. It felt like an hour, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the whole time I'm already 30 seconds in, I'm tired, I'm huffing, I'm dying, and it's just like after a while you're like, okay, yeah, you know what, you gotta pace yourself, you gotta. Work angles, bro. And that was one of the biggest things, I guess, for me when I started was angles. Because it was, like, I was like the whole Vandele Rock'em Sock'em, stand in front of the guy and just throw Hail Marys, man. But that shit don't work, bro. After a while, it's like people learn technique and you get overpass. But let me ask you, as far as your boxing, man, when did that start?
Actually, I want to say about like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. And those here in San Antonio?
Yeah, actually, I'm from Austin.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Oh,
so
nice,
I actually...
man.
One of the old smaller gyms out there had a boxing, and one of my coaches throughout that whole time, he started to teach me the basics of boxing, everything, and then I competed a little bit, came out with a 3-1 record, and then he left off to the military, and then I was like, all right, cool.
Damn.
And then took a little bit of time off, did some stuff for the family, helped them out. And then they all moved down to San Antonio, so I was like, let me just follow them.
Yeah, you're like, where are y'all going?
And where y'all going? Let me just come with y'all. And
well, the good news is that they told you, right? They were leaving because they didn't leave you out there, man. Like,
no.
You're like, what's going on? And then as far as, what attracted you to combat sports? Like when you started, was boxing just like down the street that you were like, man, let me try it, or?
No, actually, honestly, I told myself throughout it, my whole family was like, don't do it, don't fight, don't do nothing like that, because they're all military family. They're like, you're going to the military, you're going to do this. I'm like, all right, cool. Went into school, college, and went in for nursing and stuff. Got out of it, and then you know what? Let me try something. Let me get out of my comfort zone. And then I guess boxing came up, started training in boxing, and then they moved down here, and I was like, let me just step it up a little bit more. I know my basics of boxing. Let me step it out. Let me start getting one-on-one, hands-on. Let's do some MMA. And that's how I went with it. And I've just been training ever since.
And did you get to compete in boxing?
I got to compete in boxing for a little bit. Did a couple matches. Yeah. Came out 3-1, and then that last loss, I was like, I could have won it, but I was like, last round, I was like, I was tired. I was like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done.
Take it,
man.
And as far as boxing, like you said, your family, they didn't want you to get hurt. They're thinking military. What happened in the military life?
Just them. It was just like I seen with them. I was like, I've always wanted to get into the military, but as soon as the military, when I was going through the whole thing, they found out that I tore my meniscus.
Oh, man.
So I was like, all right, cool. That was it.
Damn.
So, all right, cool.
Well, they might, the whole Russia thing might still go on.
I know.
They might pick you up,
I know.
I'll get him on the line right now. He's ready to go, man.
All right, let's go. If they want boxing, let's go.
There you go, man. And I know, politics are out there, man, and I listen and I watch, and it's just, it's one of those things, like, I try not to deal with them, but obviously, freaking deals with us.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, I try not to get into it. I'm just like, once it happens, it happens. If it comes here, cool. Then I have to get serious about it. But, we can't do anything right now.
No.
All we got to do is just wait on the sidelines and see what happens. What's the next step?
No, yeah, bro. Because even I have my Swiss Army knife in the truck just in case, bro. 'Cause some breaks, man. I'm gonna go build a cabin and start a fire and
Let's go.
see my wilderness, tactics work, man.
Chuck Norris style.
Yeah. Man, you see, and the thing about it, there was a tournament that happened, man. Hardcore Fighting Championships happened in Russia just this past week, and one of the fighters I interviewed, this guy Robert Moreau, he fought. He went to Russia, and all this was kind of like starting, and I was thinking like, damn, I wonder, it would have sucked for them to be up there and something happened, and then they're stuck up there, or, I don't know. I just started thinking crazy, man. But the guy himself was just like, man, everybody was friendly. Everybody, I mean, he showed pictures. They were like catered to them. They had like a nice suite. And
it was like a day-to-day life, like nothing was going on.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So I'm thinking like, okay, if all that is fine and dandy out there, then why are they feeding us all this crap over here, bro? Like, it's just, it's like one of those things, man. Like they're posting what they want us to think
to think about it. Yeah.
But so I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm no conspiracy theories, but yeah, man, come on.
It's one of those things to question about.
Yeah, man, because it's just like with COVID, and it's happening. It happened. It started, and it's just, some people have passed away, unfortunately, and maybe rest in peace. And it's just, but for me, it's like every day, man. Every year, hundreds of people pass away, unfortunately, and some for death, some for accidents. I mean, we never know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it's just, we kind of have to keep our eyes open and read some of this stuff, actual stuff for ourselves, because definitely we can't depend on the government, bro. It's just one of those things.
It is. It definitely is one of those things.
Man, and let me ask you, bro. I mean, steer away from politics. Photography, man. You are a photographer, but you're not doing it right now, man. What happened, bro?
I guess honestly, like, I've done photography. Like with my artist style photography, I was exploring abandoned buildings, so hospitals.
I saw that, dude. I was like, dude, but man, I love that stuff, and I'm thinking, like, man, I mean. Obviously, I mean, when you take photos, let me ask you this. I mean, is it the whole, like, the story behind it, or you take a picture of a sign and you're thinking, man, the things this sign has seen, because so much has happened in the world.
Yeah. I mean, even along the way of exploring different things, I actually was able, my crew and I actually got able to explore in an asylum. And we actually got some documentation legit from a doctor who used to work there, saying what he did to the patient, how he did it, like step by step. Wow, and I'm like, okay, wow. And then it went from there, and I just continued to explore for 13 plus years doing that work.
And that was in Austin, or where did you go?
Around the States.
Oh, wow.
Around the States, yeah. I went around all the States. Before when COVID hit, I was actually already planning to go to the United Kingdom, because I have friends out there, and I was like, let me do a month trip. Because at that time, I was getting paid to live in my car, to be able to travel around the States, to actually be able to do all my work, which I love.
Yeah.
And then once COVID hit, I was like, I got to come back, got to start doing what I need to do. And then I was like, let me just start getting into everything, start getting back into it, start letting that flying.
Yeah. No, because I mean, I saw your photos, and I'm like, damn, that's some good stuff, man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have a camera. I'm not a photographer, but I'm all about angles. I'm all about, if I take a picture of you, I want to make sure I cap. You know what I mean? Like what's behind you. I'm real big when it comes to like details. Just what I see. But I saw your work, and I'm like, damn, dude. And it's definitely abandoned. Because a lot of this stuff was old and a lot of debris.
Decay.
Yeah, bro. And it's just, but I love that kind of stuff, man.
I appreciate it. I mean, we got to be able to sleep in some of those buildings too, to actually be able to. We've done all that. We've done exploring. We've done living in those places for like maybe days, slept overnight.
And let me ask you this, because a lot of them are abandoned. I mean, hearing things, seeing things, man. That you guys witness that? Oh
yeah, definitely.
You see, and I'm real big. I mean, I'm a big horror fan. Like I tell people, like here in San Antonio, man, like we've lived in 2 houses, bro. One was a 2-story house that's a few blocks away from where I live now, and like seeing visions, like seeing people, like reflections from the window behind me. I mean, just crazy stuff, bro. Like downstairs by myself, we're watching TV, and you hear people, man. We're sitting down. There's the door to go upstairs. And you hear people clearly talking, bro. Nobody else is there, and we're like, But I used to creep over,
We
look at that mirror, because the stairs would go one way and come back. I look at that window, and you will see people walking by, bro. And I'm like,
here, yeah.
You know?
I even in Kansas. Sorry to interrupt, but when I went to Kansas, I had this group of paranormal investigators. I actually was able to investigate with one of the cameramans behind Ghost Adventures, and he owns this brothel. And, you know, everything was going. And there was this one thing where everybody leaves a radio in there. And I have my headphones connected to one of the, like, I guess radio frequencies. Right. Connected, blindfolded. They cuffed me and I was, like, just talking. And it was left and right. And I went into a zone. And then left and right, they were talking, asking questions. And they were responding through me. And it was one of the craziest things because I felt them walking around, felt them touching, and then towards the end of the whole investigation, we're all in the main room, and we all went quiet because we heard the brothels, the women doing their rounds.
What the world?
Talking and everything, and we're like,
were there any women with you guys?
No, it was an all male group.
Crazy, bro. Damn. Yeah, you see, and like I said, man, I watch horror films, and you know, after I do, before I go to bed, I leave the hallway light on. And I'm not gonna lie, man, because I mean, cause like I said, I've seen things, man. I've heard things. One of the things, and I've told people, like, you know, my friends back to when, I think it was like during high school, man, probably out of high school, but we used to have my room was in the back. I'm laying down, man. I'm just chilling. I look up and I see somebody standing there. My little brother was staying with us for a while. Yeah. And I thought it was him, so I'm like, hey, get out of my room. I grab my pillow and I throw it, and it goes right through that person or whatever was standing there, bro. I freaking got up, jumped, went out the back door, man, ran to the front, and you know.
Even nowadays, like, people always ask me, and they're like, well, do you still see stuff at your house? Oh, yeah. Like, just this morning, I was cooking my breakfast, and I looked down my way, because I live with roommates, a 4-bedroom apartment, and I looked down my way, and like I just saw somebody right there, and my husky, my dog, was all eyes in my room, and I'm like,
see that sense that stuff too, man. Yeah, you see, and that's it was like a few days ago, and cause we have 4 dogs at home, and one of them, like, he just stands in the middle of the wall and he's just barking, and I'm like, okay, I hope there's a rat in there somewhere or something, bro, because I'm just like, you know, my mind starts wandering, and I'm thinking, okay, like, so, something, you know, the house, like, that we have in, like, before we moved in, I had it blessed. I had a, you know, just go in there and just, you know, because it's an older home, and I'm like, you know, whatever is here, man, let it go somewhere, man, let it go in peace, you know.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, and I'm real big, and I'm a believer. I mean, like I said, I've seen things, I've heard things. You know, that 2-story house that we lived in, it was, one day, it was the whole family. We're going home. It was a long driveway. We went into the back door, and the window, you see a silhouette. And my mom's like, oh, you know, your sister's here. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I run up, man. Go inside, go upstairs, go to the room. Nothing. I go downstairs, and I told my mom, I said, hey, nobody's here. And she's like, oh, okay, I guess nobody's here. And I'm like, okay. And it was, but you see, the crazy thing about it, bro, is that we were there for a few months. We moved out, went to another home. Years later, fast forward, like, you know, I had driven by the house one day, and I was like, I was going to go see my mom. And I told her, and I said, hey, Mom, I went by the house, that 2-story house. And she's like, oh, you mean the haunted one? And I look at her, and I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, it was haunted. That's why we left. That's why we moved. And I'm thinking, like, bro, because it was never brought up. Like, the whole time we lived there, it was just kind of like we knew, but nobody really talked about it. But the fact that my mom told me that, I was just like, oh, crap. Like, okay, you know, and the scary part about it is that, because I've seen things like 3 houses that we lived in, and I told one of my buddies, and I said, man, I've always, and he said, man, what if it's you that's haunted? And I'm like, bro, I haven't been able to sleep, bro. I'm like, get that egg, light a candle, and I'm say a couple prayers, but I was just like, damn, like, you know what? It's one of those things, man. But yeah, bro, I mean, but you're out there, you've been out there, you've been covering it, you have photos. I mean, did you ever capture anything in your photos, man?
Actually, one of my friends, we got invited by the owners who own the most haunted hospital here in Texas, Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
Yes, sir.
And she actually, it was both of us, we had the whole building to ourselves, locked up. And we were going down one hallway, and we turned around to take a photo. Yeah. And later that night, she was like, she texted me, and she was like, we were the only 2, right? I was like, yeah, why? What's up? She's like, then tell me what is in this picture. Like, tell me what's going on. Kid you not. Straight figure, you can't see through it, looking in the hallway, looking straight at us, dead eye. And later find out that was a man who did the triple homicide. He killed his wife, who was a nurse there, who was having an affair with one of the patients, and then he killed himself.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, and there's stuff like that, man. Like for me, it's it's out there, and then there's one of the stores that I deliver for.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I'm in the warehouse, peripheral vision, bro. I see. And it looks like a small kid, man. It looks like a small kid, and I always see him when I'm moving stuff, and I always just like, and like, this is years back, and I still see it, bro. I still go back there, and I'm like, okay, let me get my shit and get out. But I told one of the managers, and I said, hey, man, I said, you ever see anything over here, like back here? And he's like, oh, you mean that kid? And I'm like, bro, like, I was just like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I've seen it. And I'm like, dude, like, it's one of those things, like, it's like, okay, yeah, I know it's just not me, but. Yeah. And but there was another guy that worked there. He doesn't work there anymore, man. But he freaked out, man, because he was just like, dude, I ain't going back there, bro. Like I saw something, and I'm just like, man, I mean, for me, when I witness stuff like that, for me personally, man, I pray on it, and I'm like, you know what? Because I don't want it to follow me, man. So I'm just like, hey, whatever's there, man. Hey, let it rest, man. Let it, But like I said, I still go back there, and I still see it, and. But it's just one of those things, man. I mean,
it definitely is one of those things. Even like you said, warehouse. I've done my time in the warehouse. Done three different locations, and it's like, out of those, I would probably say was one of the grocery ones that I worked for. Yeah. And it's these long hallways, and I had my own module, and it's like you said, seeing things, and I'm like, ooh, and I asked my manager, I was like, hey, was there any, like, murders, suicides here? And he was like, a handful. I'm like, I was like, okay. I've seen a couple figures, if you don't. He's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I used to work for him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Bro. What the
I'm
world?
like, oh, all right.
You see, man, you see, those watching this or listening, man, I mean, and I brought this up one time. I did one episode, a few months back, but it was just on that, man, because I was just like, I know I can't be the only one, and I had asked my buddy, Aaron Suarez, he was here, and I told him, I said, hey, man, and he said, oh, no, I don't believe in it, nope. And he's if I do, I don't, but I was just like, okay, I'll leave it at that, man. Yeah. But it was just like, it's one of those things, man, like I said, I mean, I grew up with horror movies, and I grew up with, so, people might say, oh, man, it's just your imagination, it's just... Your angle, maybe cataracts, but
I've noticed, like, going from Austin to San Antonio. Austin's like the more iffy, but San Antonio's like, we're all in this horror, and I'm like, okay, I can hang out with y'all for sure.
Right, we're cool.
We're cool. I mean, I've worked with some well-known paranormal investigators here in the States, so it's like that whole thing for me. It's like that's in the past. Let me start working on what I love now, which is competing, fighting, getting hands on.
Bro, definitely, man. And I hate to bring that up, but it's just your photos, man, for sure.
I know, I appreciate it.
Man, and I was just like, man, I wonder, because I think on one of them you had put an abandoned building or something, and I was like, man, I wonder if these guys were like ghost hunters, bro.
No, I mean, they were like I said, I've worked with ghost, paranormal investigators, witches, good ones, bad ones. Yeah. I worked with everybody, including own urban explorers. Who've actually done this for longer than I have, 20 plus 30 years. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now you're taking all your energy towards, the positive.
Yeah.
I mean, competition, man, tournaments. I mean, of course, you said you're going to jump in your first one soon, NoGi.
NoGi.
And is that preference, or is that, like you said, more because? I mean,
I feel more comfortable. I feel more flexible. And so it's just like, let me just get out of my comfort zone. Let me see what happens. See, I've trained with, bigger men than me, but I'm like, you know what? I'm 170, let me move, let me figure out my weight, let me see how my style is, and then let me go. If I'm good at NoGi, let me just transfer that to Gi. Yeah.
And as far on the tournament, is it a tournament style, or is it a one-on-one, like a super fight, or?
I don't know. I'm just jumping in. I'm like, let's go. I seen it. Yeah.
And of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's gonna have a few people competing, right?
Yeah. I know for sure. Like, I know some of from our academy, there's going to be a couple people. I know we're all like, some of them are still recovering from their Muay Thai competition within the last couple months.
Bro.
And I know one of our women with the gi, she actually flew to Italy to go compete.
Damn.
And then she won. And now she's like, I don't know when she's going to come back and compete again. So we're all getting ready to grind it out again and start fighting and competing.
No, bro, and especially, you see, that's one of the things. Another thing with me with tournaments was that I didn't like having to drive 30-40 minutes or an hour to Austin, Houston, compete, wait 2 hours, weigh in, wait 3 hours, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like the whole waiting game for me. It was like, man, like, you know, it just, you have to. I mean, it happens, you know, you go and sign up, but it was just like, you know what, man, like, that's kind of what killed it for me towards the end. I was just like, man, I don't have time to go to see if I get somebody in my weight class, if somebody, you know, and that's, like I said, I mean, that's why most of the time it was just like, man, put me in gi, no gi, absolute, senior division, I don't care, man, kids class, hey, let's go, you know, I'll tap somebody out.
Just give me the fight.
Yeah, get in there and, you know, jump in, man. I mean, I did a couple, I never won anything, bro, but it's just, I definitely learned a lot just because I was like, okay, yeah, like if you're doing this or, you know, like you guys are going to start doing this, people that have been doing this, it's just like they're used to it. They're used to like, okay, well, we got to weigh in at so-and-so time, now we got to wait. You know, it's just, it's a waiting process, man. But hopefully...
it definitely is a waiting process.
Yeah,
and even that, just the day, that waiting process, that's like, I feel like that's the final stretch.
Yeah.
But before then, it's like the training every day, getting up at that certain time, going in, going out, putting in the work. Yeah. You know, a lot of these people come in and they're like, let me just get it. I'm like, you got to learn, man. You got to learn.
They're like, you got to learn. I always tell people, man, the first thing that because they were like, man, you know, how did it go the first time? And I said, man, the first thing I learned how to do was how to tap. I said, that was your first lesson. You're like, okay, you tap with your hand, with your foot, whatever, your elbow, hey, you say tap or, you know, but I said, that's the first thing, man. I mean, you know, you get tapped out left and right. I mean, like for yourself, you know, you came from from boxing, jumped into grappling, and you're like, okay, it's a whole new world, you know, you're kind of like having to learn the basics literally, and you know, did you ever wrestle though? I mean, like not so much in high school, but I mean, like
I have zero wrestling experience.
Well, no, the reason I ask is because a lot of times, like for myself, we used to wrestle around as kids, you know, and I'm not gonna say I learned, but it's just like, okay, I was used to fumbling and tumbling, and you know, so when they came to jiu-jitsu, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is what we do. I kind of had the momentum, I kind of had the, you know, me, of course, you learn from scratch, but it's just from somebody that's like, oh yeah, I've never wrestled, I've just been doing kickboxing or taekwondo, my whole, you know, when we started, man, we used to get black belts in taekwondo. We used to get, and I was a blue belt at the time.
Okay.
And my instructor was always like, hey, wait, Arnie, go with this guy. And I'm
just
like,
go.
All right. And dude, like powerhouses, dude, big old, you know, black dudes, man, just muscle heads, and I'll tap them out, man. I catch them, you know. And they're like, damn, like that was good. And they go again and tap them out again, and they're like,
okay.
But it's because they were a black belt at, you know, taekwondo or whatever, you know, art form, man. But as far as grappling, they had nothing. So, you know, it's just like the. You know, kind of like the whole Gracie thing, man. They started going against nothing but pure strikers, so of course they're gonna win and take them down and freaking.
That's even too. It's like I love it. I love the form. I love the work. I love the technique. I love the style. And that's why I kind of like. Okay, cool. I know how to use my hands. Let me figure out how to use my whole body.
Heck yeah, bro. Yeah, and it literally is your whole body, man. Because when you first started wrestling, man, you started grappling. You go home and you're like. Muscles you didn't even know you had, freaking sore, you know, you're like, crap, what the hell's back here, man, like, but yeah, it's just, like we were saying earlier, drills, you know, people are like, oh man, like, you do drills every day, and I'm like, bro, every day, like, even if you just drill the arm bar, and it's not even so much with the arm, it's just momentum, coming back, going forward, I mean, it's, you know, like I mentioned earlier, man, one of my, used to be my student way back in the day, Randy, man, he's a first degree black belt now, he kept learning, kept training. And, you know, we talked the other day, I interviewed him for this fight that's not going to happen. And one of the things I told him, I said, man, back in the day, like, I just wanted to make it fun for everybody to want to come back. You know, we joke, you know, we didn't joke around, but I would joke about something and, okay, come on, let's go, you know. But it was drills, man, partner drills, man. I used to drill the hell out of everybody, man. And, you know, some of them hated it, but the ones that stuck with it were like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what?
It's going to help out in the long run.
Yeah, it's like, now I know if somebody pushes me this way, I'm gonna roll with it. Come back, you know what I mean? Like
suck it up and keep going.
Yeah, rodandis, or what they call, as far as rolling around, tumbling. First thing, one of the first basic things you can learn. But let me ask you, man, as far as, do you train with the gi right now, though?
NoGi.
No?
NoGi. So it's all just NoGi in the mornings. That's what I do.
And of course, that works with your schedule as far as work. What time do you go in?
Normally I go in with work. It's like 11.
Oh,
11
okay.
to 5 or 11 to 6. So I'm just hitting into work and then come back out and do some more work.
I was going to say, you don't train gi, but I was going to say, man, you ever show up to work with the gi? You forget to change, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
But what does work consist of, man?
Just like my actual job. Yeah, job. It's like I'm a manager. So I'm a manager at the restaurant, just taking care of my people, just seeing what they need,
doing what they're supposed
to do and stuff. The basics, helping them out, checking on the guests. They all know that I'm a fighter, so they all ask like, "Hey, when's your next fight? How are you doing? How you feeling? You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah, sponsor me, man. What are you talking about?
Sponsor. Yeah, give me a little raise. I'll help y'all.
A little incentive, feed me. The whole meal prep. Now, as far as, because you train with no-gi and you're going to compete in no-gi, of course, when you weigh in, it's just regular, right? You're going to be at the whatever weight class, and you're going to stay at 170?
I'm going to stay at 170 at this one. If I feel good, I'm going to maybe drop it to 155 or maybe just bump it up to 185. Heck yeah, dude. So we'll see where it goes.
You see, and that's one of the same things, back in the day, man. I mean, we had guys who competed in regional circuits back then, and one of them was the promotion was Renegades Extreme Fighting. Sal Solis, who passed away, unfortunately, a few months back. He was the promoter, man, and, going back then, like, I remember some of the guys that we trained with were 145, 155. I was walking around like a 150, and we started watching some of the fighters. We were backstage, and, we see these big old dudes, man, and we're like, yeah, and we're like, hey, what are you fighting at, man? Oh, 155. And we're like, what the fuck? We're like, oh, crap. I'm looking at my teammates like, dude, I got to drop to like 120, man. I'm like, damn, like these guys are huge, man.
Yeah.
But,
I
mean, the weight cut, a lot of them came from wrestling, so they knew how to do it, and it's just, but it was, it was one of those things like, yeah, man, if you got to compete, you got to definitely be comfortable with your weight and know which weight class you want to jump in, man, because it'll make a difference, man.
It is. It definitely does. That's why, like, even too, it's like my walking weight's within the 5 pound range difference, so I just keep it within there. So all I have to do is just drop it. Yeah. And I'll be good.
And let me ask you, not to go back into the whole
you're good.
Paranormal, but as far as your photography, bro, what was the name of the company?
With me, it's like I went by KeeperOfTheSecond.
Okay, and I was gonna ask you, what's the story behind that, man?
I mean, besides that, it's my friend, sadly she passed away, but she gave me the name. She saw that through her eyes. She saw that I loved it. I loved to enjoy every second. Hence the name, KeeperOfTheSecond, to enjoy every second that you have. So
that makes sense.
I went with it, and ever since that she passed away, she had a list like, hey, when I want to see these. So I was like, okay, let me knock them off. And still continue to do her work, and then I'm like, you know what? Time to pack the bags. Let me figure out, because I knew the flame was about to go out, and I'm like, let me just figure out what's next for me. What's the next chapter?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Because I mean, that was definitely one chapter of your life. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, I'm pretty sure as far as paranormal, not going back to that.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, as far as photography, though, man, I mean, are you gonna stick with photography? Just even
maybe for now, maybe. But as of right now, with my schedule and stuff, it's just like all hands on the mat, for real. Just competing, training. Maybe within the next couple of years, I'm going to figure out see where the photography is, because I know some people are wanting me to go back out to continue doing my work, but I'm like. Priorities first, y'all.
No, definitely, bro. But yeah, man, I mean, it'd be good to see you back at it, man. I mean, like I said,
I appreciate it.
When I started, I bought a camera. I was never a photographer. I always tell people this, man. It's when I went to high school, I was a real shy kid, man. I mean, I still am. I like my space. I like, that's why you're sitting so far away, bro. No. But for me, it was, I took art. I took art. I took photography, and I was like, man, I'm looking forward to it. I want to take photos. I want to learn how to develop, because this is before digital. And, I went to class, and they were like, hey, then the teacher's like, hey, we're going to do this, and this is what we're going to study. He's giving us our whole, And then right before the end of the class, he's like, all right, everybody, bring your cameras tomorrow. And I was like, what cameras? You know, so everybody's leaving. I wait till everybody leaves, and I go up to him, and I'm like, hey, the cameras, I mean, did we get them from you? And he's like, oh, no, you got to get your own camera. And he's like, you don't have a camera? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, you can't take the class. And I was like, damn, dude, like, it's just like that, bro. Like, my dad had passed away the year prior, man, so, you know, money was tight. I know Mom, you know, wouldn't approve or wouldn't have had the money to do that, but just like that, man, it ended, and I was like, damn. So I went and took business management. I don't even know what I took, bro, but I took something else. It was an elective, you know, but yeah, I wish, things would have been different. I would have loved to at least been able to capture that back then. I would always the guy at the party, you know, with the camera. It was old school, you know, have to wind it and stuff.
Always, yeah.
But
the little disposable ones?
Yeah. Yes, bro. I was always the one making that noise. You know, but yeah, I wish I would have kept up with it, or at least taken it to that extent, because I do love capturing, you know, images, man. I mean, I've had a couple of photos published in 2 magazines. I had a photo published in a book, and it's not so much like for me. I like it. I enjoy it. I've had some new images, but this is like one of the photos that I took that this lady actually published. And she actually competed. It was a reality show for MMA here in San Antonio, man. And I took photos, and she's like, hey, I'm going to publish a book, and do you have any pictures that I can use? And I'm like, yeah. I sent her a few, and boom. She was like, can I use this for the cover? I was like, yeah, just
go for it,
man. And so people are always, you know, and I've been in magazines locally, man. I've actually helped a couple of people, and it was just, you know, I mean, hey, you got a camera? Can you go take? Yeah, sure. I'll go take pictures of you know. But I've been able to cover like the UTSA games, go to the Alamo Dome, just, you know, travel. And that's kind of like I was already doing the media. So I've been able to take pictures like for Bellator, for the UFC, for, you know, just
lucky.
Yeah, man.
Lucky on that one.
Like, and people are always like, man, how do you do this? And I'm like, well, it's a company, man. I mean, I can't. It happens where you're a photographer and you can just go and you can take photos, and you know the original promotion. A lot of times they'll be like, yeah, sure, you know, just give us copies or give us a memory card or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've been happy. I've been privileged. I've been honored to actually do Strike Force regionals here to San Antonio, Texas. You know, but Bellator, hanging out with Big John McCartney. You know, he's next door, next to me, man, chilling. But it's been fun, man, and that's kind of. During those years, I was at the postal employee, and I would always tell people they were my sponsor because I was able to get days off. I scheduled days off, and they paid well. So I was like, go take pictures for a few hours, and after it was all said and done, I took a couple of years off. Came back to it. I mean, I was helping out with TexasFighting.com, and the owner had moved out of state at the time. Chris Lopez Jr. Man, the guy gave me the opportunity to help him. I got bit by the bug again, and I said, man, you know what, I'm going to come back. And I tried using the Texas Fighting page again, man, and it was kind of like it had been sitting for so long that I was just like, man, I got to do something else. Like, I got to do something new.
Yeah.
And one day I was watching some of the fights, and they were like, hey, man, you know, the fight card, you know, they kept saying the fight card, and I was like, you know what, man, like, the Fight Card Podcast. I was like, dude, that's perfect, because I was like, initially... I mean, I'm getting, you know, locals, I'm getting coaches, I'm getting fighters, businessmen, companies just to come in and jump in for an episode, man. But my intentions, and I'm still going to do it, is bringing people in and going over a fight card, and whether it's for Legacy, for the UFC, BKFC, and just go over it and see, you know, just get our thoughts, man. Yeah, just get our thoughts and see who, you know, but... It'll happen, man. I mean, I've got a couple of UFC fighters I'm going to be dragging in here and going over cards, you know, let them pick who they want, and I'll do my picks, and then we'll let everybody else pick and see who's right, you know. But
that's awesome.
But I'm going to have fun with it, man. Like I said, I mean, I've been around a lot of good people, and it's just, I just wish I would have learned how to do photography. Like digital format, bro. Like I've taken classes, and it has never stuck, bro. Like it's just... My attention span isn't there, so but yeah, it's just like, okay, well, I know how to use my camera, I know how to, you know, but
we all use the camera every day. Yeah, Snapchat, all those.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just go from there, you know.
And let me ask you, your camera, where's it at right now? Is it boxed away at home or what?
I sold all my equipment.
Really, bro? Yeah. Seriously?
I sold it all. I was like, you know, it's taking it up. You know, I kept going in and out, and I'm just like, you know what, I need to put this out for a minute. Come back later when I'm ready. You know, I've done 13 years consecutively, nonstop. You know, I was able, out of those 13 years, I was living out of my car, traveling around the states, going going and just doing that job. And it was like, I felt like that was the start of it. Like, you know, this is my skyrise. It's about to just slowly, you know, end it all for right now.
No, and I mean, that's one way to get it out of sight, out of mind, bro. It's literally getting rid of it. Because I know, for me, like, when I had stopped, honestly, man, I had my vehicle broken into.
Yeah.
So they stole my laptop and my camera.
Oh, wow.
And they stole a couple other pieces, and I was like, damn. But it was kind of... At that time, I was like, I'm kind of glad it happened now, because I did need to unplug, and I had a lot of stuff going on in life, and I was just like, well, I guess I won't do it for now. And it took me a while to kind of like, you know, I was still watching the fights, and I was still following people on social media, but it was just like, I just stopped going to shows, and, you know, it's time consuming, man.
It definitely is time consuming, you know.
And so, yeah, but it's just, I enjoyed the time that I had, and now, you know, my kids are older. Most of my bills are paid, not all of them, but you know, I can get away, and you know, I'm self-employed now, so I can kind of schedule around stuff and people coming in. I'm like, you know, set some time aside. But yeah, man. But I mean, as far as at OHANA, man, I mean, I know you mentioned a couple of names as far as the people that are out there. Washington Ty, of course. You know, he's on social media, man. You can with the guy.
Yes, sir. He's my coach.
And how hard does he kick, bro?
Gosh.
You feel it like 2 days later, right?
I actually, it took me because we were just doing some kick drills.
Yeah.
And he just like, I don't know what I did to piss him off, but he went, bah, to my thigh, my left.
Damn.
And I was like, for a week and a week and a half, it was like just bruised.
I had a heartbeat. You're like,
yeah. I'm like, okay, I know your limit, Washington. Let me not go there again.
No, and you see, and that's the thing, because the guy's been here for a while.
Yeah.
I know he came from Brazil. He's been here, and definitely a good addition. I mean, I know, like yourself, you moved from Austin out here. I mean, San Antonio's been freaking growing for the past 2-3 years. I mean, it's been growing for a while, but I mean, that I've noticed, you know, it's booming, man. I mean, going towards Castroville, like going towards Hondo, like San Antonio, it's going to be part of Hondo pretty soon. Or Hondo part of San Antonio soon, man. But
even like with Washington, he's so precise. He's always on like his people. The people he can see is like, oh, you're going to be a fighter. You're going to be a fighter.
And you're going to be a cameraman. You're like,
yeah.
Give me a camera.
No, but I love Washington. Washington's like an awesome coach to talk with, to understand. He'll even talk to you afterwards. He's like, this is what I saw. This is what you need to do. Work on it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's actually pretty good, man, because I remember, you know, back when I was training, I mean, instructors will be there, and I mean, it is rude to be like, hey, you know, kind of like in the middle of a technique. So you kind of wait and then wait for them to ask you, but yeah, man, a lot of them, I mean, I was there a few times when people would do that, like, oh, hey, and they'll kind of give them that look, like, not right now, you know.
Not right now, yeah.
They're like, all right, you know, kind of waiting. But back then, man, it was one of those, and I laugh about it now because it's like, damn, but it's like, hey, what was I doing wrong? And he's like, oh, man, pay for a private, man. We'll go over it. And I'm like, goddamn. That's why I never got any better, you know. Like, I'll just keep rolling. But, yeah, I mean, his business, of course, you know. But it's just the fact that he actually takes time after the day to do that, man, that speaks volumes, man.
He talks for a couple minutes, and that's it. That's all you get from him. Yeah. But, hey, you know, I appreciate it all the time from him. Yeah. Or even with the other coaches, too.
No, there was a buddy of mine, and one day, because he was all like, yeah, man, I went up to my instructor, and he said, hey, man, how can I get big? You know, I want to get muscle. I'm like, you know, he was a heavy guy. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man. He just looks at me, and he goes, lift weights, lift lots of weights. And then he just left it at that, and he was like, God damn, I could have freaking, I knew that, you know, but I was just like, well, man, if that's all you're going to get out of him, then that's it, you know.
That's it, yeah.
But as far as this, back to this grappling thing, man, I mean, of course, how far are you looking to push it, man, as far as it'll go?
As far as it go, you know, I mean, I have the goal right now. It's like, I told myself, once I get back into, because I've had 7+ years with the food industry and stuff, and it's just like, once I went back into it, I told myself, only here for temporarily. Once I get my shot with grappling, or once I get my shot with any of the MMA, boxing, or whatever, I'm going to ride it. Push it.
How old are you right now, bro?
I'm 24.
Oh, man, dude.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Man, that's good, though. I mean, that's a good I think when I started, I was around 22, 23. And like I said, I mean, I got thrown in there. We had like 17, 18-year-olds, like high school football players. And So everybody was, there was a lot of athletes in there, but
I had the opportunity to go actually fly out to Florida last summer to go train with IMPA.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
And actually now I call him family because we're always chit-chatting, and I always tell him, like, you were the start of the flame. You pushed me to it.
Yeah.
He's like, I appreciate it.
How did that start, though? I mean, what took you over there?
Actually, with him, it was more... My dad passed away the year before, and he posted something on his feed, and I was like, and I responded, I was like, I totally get it, man. My dad passed away, is just shit, and it went from there.
Damn.
And it was just like we started chit-chatting. We had our video calls, video chats, him helping me out with the techniques, with boxing, moving and stuff, and then I was like, you know what are you doing this summer? He's like, I'm free. I don't have no fights coming up. Come out, fly for a week or so. So I was there for a week training with him, and he was like,
bro.
It was with detail, and I'm like, yeah. And nowadays he's like, how's training? How's everything? I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
And
dude,
got fighting soon, so he's like, all right, let's go. Let's keep going.
Dude, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I know I had my missed opportunities, man. I was actually supposed to go to Brazil one time for a weekend. It was like a summer seminar.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to it, man. And it's just, I was always working, and I don't know why. I mean, I was always chasing the money, man. And it's like, I keep hearing that, like, chase your dreams, not your money. And I wasn't. But yeah, man, I had an opportunity to go to Brazil. I had an opportunity to go to Puerto Rico, just outside the country, and I was just like, man, like, I should have.
Yeah, it's always these people, like, we're workaholics.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say. Even it's the same thing I always tell them, like, you know what, you gotta say no to one or the other. For real, you just gotta push it. Just push it.
Take that chance and go out there,
man. Take the chance.
Definitely, see where it goes, because there's a lot of missed opportunities, man, and that's one of the things. Even at, like, the beginning of this year, I was just like, you know what, man, somebody offers me something, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care. I'm like, I can work around it, but yeah, there's a couple of things. It's projects that I'm looking at this year, man, that I'm looking forward to, because I'll be traveling, man. I'm definitely gonna go out there, hang out with people that are doing this, but in a bigger setup, and just kind of go from there. That's and awesome. Like, be a little, go out there and learn, man. Just enjoy life, have fun,
enjoy it,
you know. But I'm looking forward to that, though, man, for sure. Because, and like I said, I mean, as far as, this is the podcast, of course. It's, it is what it is, man. It's gonna get better. I mean, there's the platform that's gonna upgrade.
Hey, this is just the beginning, man.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
By all means, bro. And the people that have been coming by, they're like, yeah, this is cool. And I'm like, really, like. But it's fun. I like it. Like I said, I mean, it's just the fact that it is a platform, and I can get guys like you to jump on here and chit chat, man, and get something going. Because for me, man, I mean, I've always been a big fan of like the underdog. I always, even when I started with TexasFighting.com, I was getting the guys that were on the undercard. I was getting the guys that were amateurs that were making their pro debut, and I always went after those people because I was just like, you know what, man, I've dealt with music back in the 90s where I was distributing music, man. I used to get companies from this record label from New York, from New Mexico, from Germany, from Spain, that would send me music, like boxes full of like albums and t-shirts and invoice, talk about trust, man, because they used to send me like boxes full of like, $500-$600 worth of stuff, wholesale, and I would sell it, and I would send them their check, and I would make my money. And I started doing that, and I was just like, damn, you know what, but I was doing photography, like I said, with old school camera, and I would always take pictures of the drummer, man. I would always interview the drummers, because I was just like, you know what, they're the ones to keep that beat, but yet everybody's up front and they're in the back. So I was like, you know what, let me start interviewing these people, man, and started learning more about them, what got them interested as far as like, with music, and it was interesting because it's like they'd be playing punk rock or they'd be playing something, but they're like, oh no, man, I was always big with classical, and I'm like, what, like really, like, you know what, but it's a musical influence, and a lot of their desire was started from that, and now here they are, but so I've always been that guy, man, and that's why I was like, you know what, this is kind of what I'm going to do with this. Like I mentioned earlier, I've got a couple of big names coming through. I've got local, as far as basketball and baseball, I'm reaching everybody, bro, but it's
that's awesome.
and they're out there. You know, they got a name for themselves, and I'm like, well, shoot, come in here, man. Let's
Just
chit
come
chat
in.
and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I know. I heard Troy Aikman was here the other day. I'm
He
like,
was at the Little Woodrow's off of
Yeah,
Stone Oak.
bro.
I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah, and I was watching it, and I was like, man, he didn't call me. No. but bro, like people like that. I'm like, you know what, man, and I'll put this on record because it's on video. But I'm gonna get to that point. I want to be that guy that if you come through San Antonio, you're gonna have to stop by here, man. Like I've got a couple fighters, and I mean, right now it's mostly MMA and jiu-jitsu, and but I'm gonna start reaching out to athletes, man, to where musicians. I've reached out to a couple of musicians, and they're like, yeah, dude, as soon as we get time, like we'll definitely stop by. And I'm like, cool, man. Like I want to be that guy, bro, because nobody else is doing it, and I want to be the first one to do it, and just go from there, you know. But definitely have fun with it, man, and see where it goes. Go for the ride, like you said, bro.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Go for the ride for sure.
Man, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Go for
I
it.
do thank you for jumping in here and
Appreciate it.
giving me a few insights, man. Definitely, I appreciate you, man. The work, what you've done, where you're going. I'm gonna keep up with your tournaments. Definitely send me that flyer. I'm gonna post it up and see where it goes, man. Because if you don't win, I'm gonna bash you, bro.
No
pressure, bro.
But I do have that every third. If any San Antonio other fighters who want to come to OHANA Academy HQ every third Thursday, if you want to see where you're at, come in.
And
We're always
open to everybody.
It's open to everybody.
That's cool, man.
It's open to everybody.
I'm gonna talk to
So,
Jason. Definitely stop by there and check it out. And you're gonna be on that one coming up.
March 17th.
Nice.
I'll be on there. Hopefully, we'll see if I get the fight.
I'm gonna go take pictures, bro. So
Okay.
don't be camera shy, man.
I'm not.
But my man, I do appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody
Thank
out
you.
there, man. This is TheFightCardPodcast. We are in San Antonio, Texas. Till next time, hit us up.
Nice.
Let me turn this off real quick.